What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome, in fact, to the Amy, Rex, and Robbie Show. I am Robbie, and you can't have the Amy, Rex, and Robbie Show without Amy and Rex. However, Amy is on vacation this week, so we hope she's having a great time. However, we do have a fill-in. We have alliterative Alex here with us tonight, so let's welcome in Alex and Rex. What's up, y'all?
Fill-in boy. So Amy's in Disney, and she's having a wonderful time.
Nice. Sounds fun. Disney World, Disneyland. Which one?
Disneyland.
She's California.
Ooh, yeah.
She across the country, yo. That's awesome.
I know.
Nice.
Well, how are y'all doing up there in Dynamite Land? I hope y'all are dealing with the heat and staying hydrated and everything.
It's not too bad. I can't complain.
Next week will probably be bad, but right now it's okay.
All right. Well, we got a great topic. We got a couple of great topics tonight, or today. I guess it's still during the day, but you may be watching this at night, so whatever. Blade has lost its second director, right? We'll be talking about that. Paramount Plus may be going away, according to some rumors, because the deal with Sony fell through. The deal with Skydance almost was about to happen. Then that fell through. We'll get to that, but let's open up with this Blade stuff, right? I'm a huge fan of Blade. Blade, the character from the comic, from the animated series, and of course the Wesley Snipes movie, 1 and 2. They never made a third one, in my opinion, and that's just how I live, right? But when they first announced that Mahershala Ali was going to come in and play Blade in the MCU, I got very excited. A lot of people got very excited. That was like 4 to 5 years ago when this movie was announced. And obviously they never really had a solid plan for it. We have now lost the second director on Blade. This movie is supposed to come out, by the way. Right now it's scheduled for November 2025. That ain't gonna happen, right? But they've lost their second director. They're on their sixth writer right now. At one point, Mahershala Ali was going to walk away from the project because he didn't like the direction. He's still attached to it, but for how long? And honestly, at this point, we got to ask ourselves this question. Is this movie even going to happen? And what does this say about Marvel? What does it say about the state of Marvel Studios right now that they can't even get this going? And it's been years, right? There has been the actor strike. There was COVID, but I don't know, yo. Like, it seems ridiculous to me that there is so much turmoil backstage about this Blade movie. I feel that any day we're going to hear that Ali is off the project and that they're reimagining it yet again with a new actor or something like that. I don't know. What do y'all think about the Blade movie? Is it going to happen, and how embarrassing is this to Marvel?
I guess my statement is, who cares? At the end of the day, I think that Disney does not see Blade as a tentpole of any kind, so they're not really paying attention to it. And it doesn't, we'll blame it on nebulous bean counters in the background. They don't think it doesn't really have any legs to it, in that they can't incorporate this into any other part of the universe. And they're all about the universe because the universe generates, in their opinion, more money. So, from that standpoint, quite honestly, I don't think Blade's ever going to get made.
They don't care. The only time we got Blade's voice was in Eternals, and there is a literal eternal celestial coming out of planet Earth that hasn't even been referenced in the past 5 Marvel projects. If Marvel can't even reference a celestial coming out of the ocean on Earth, what makes us think that they give any crap about Blade or bringing Blade? They can't even do Dane right. They're not even gonna have Black Knight. They're not even gonna do Eternals. There's been no Eternals. So you're telling me that they're gonna ignore Eternals, ignore Black Knight, and make Blade happen? Like, it'll be an animated 6-part series on Disney Plus in 2027. They have Mahershala Ali's voice because they want to keep him attached to the project, but we are not going to get a live action unless something major changes in the next 2 months and they want to go more down the horror route. But after Werewolf by Night, which was very positively received, there's been no DC horror. There's been no Marvel horror except the colored version of Werewolf by Night. So maybe we'll see how Agatha does with all the mystic stuff, and maybe they can bring in maybe some horror aspects. But I don't even think they're gonna it's not even on their radar right now.
I see. Well, here's the thing, though. Why then have a multi-Academy Award-winning actor attached in the first place? Like, if you don't seem to care about it or whatnot. And here's the thing. Marvel needs something right now to jumpstart them, right? And if you look at where it started with a movie called Iron Man, right? And Iron Man wasn't a very popular character, but because everything worked, they had the right actor, they had the right writer, they had the right director, and it all happened at the right time, came together, and then we got the MCU out of that. Don't you think that they could do something like that with Blade? Because Blade is not the most well-known character, but that Wesley Snipes movie is pretty much considered an action movie classic at this point, right? And it did really well back in those days when nobody knew it was a comic book. Now you got the idea that it is part of Marvel. More people are aware of that. You got Mahershala Ali, like a fantastic performer who's not getting any younger as these years progress. I mean, how long until he decides, I'm done with this? This is some BS, man. I'm like holding off. What's that?
Yeah, Ali's not going to be in the movie. I think your first statement's correct. It's just a matter of time when Ali says, I'm off the pick. He's looking at other things. He's been cast in other roles. He's like, I'm done. I'm not going to be able to be part of it. I think that Blade, the original Blade, was a seminal moment, and from that, it kind of proved that obscure comic book movies can work, which then led to Iron Man. But those days are over. You see what they're banking on. Okay. You make an announcement about Avengers. You're gonna have 60 cameos. Since Endgame, that period has ended. They can't get off that. The bean counters in the back room can't get off of it. Okay. So they're trying to reproduce Endgame. Okay. They realize something's wrong. They realize something is not working. And so their solution is, okay, we need to create another Endgame. So how do we do that? Let's make an Avengers movie, bring everybody back, have 60 cameos. Okay. And that's what's going to happen. I agree. They could start with Ed Weird. They could start a whole MCU horrorverse, but they're not going to. Why? Because when you make something like that, I don't remember. Was Blade rated R?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So they don't want to make the movie rated R. Period. They don't want to do that. Deadpool and Wolverine, I think, is an anomaly, and you have to look at it as that. Okay. Because Deadpool has its own following, and bean counters can say, well, you can do it for that because that's bank. But going forward to try to recreate the MCU, okay, this is how you can tell. The bean counters are running the show. And as long as they continue to run the show and make the big decisions, you're going to have this happen. So in a sense, when you emailed me the topic, I'm just like, dude, Blade. Who's even thinking about Blade? Nobody there is thinking about Blade. They don't believe that Blade is a tentpole for them, and they're going to abandon it. That's why you're losing directors. You're going to lose the lead and Ali. All that's going to happen very soon when somebody actually pays attention to it.
I mean, Disney likes to make their casting announcements before they only have one piece of the puzzle. Hey, Edgar Wright's doing an Ant-Man movie. Okay, is he really? We'll see it when you have more than Edgar Wright directing the actors. Oh, Edgar Wright's leaving the Ant-Man. Okay, well, that sucks. Edgar Wright's gone. We have Marshall Ali is going to be Blade. Okay, well.
Uh-oh. It's happened. They've been Comcasted, as they like to say. So let's just hold off and wait for a second till they get back. You out there in the chat, I want to know what you think. Do you think this Blade movie is actually going to happen? Do you think this is another bad sign that this is a doomed project? Hey, y'all there?
I think that no decision is going to be made until July 27th when they're like, oh, Deadpool did 20 million previews last night. But I think they're going to totally wait for any decision to see how this movie does. Because, I mean, if Deadpool and Wolverine rated R doesn't do well, which personally, I think it will do well. But if this perfect R-rated movie doesn't do well, why would they remove the humor and have something more serious as an R-rated movie and basically shoehorn that into not being a PG-13? So, when I think Blade, I want to think blood. I want to think bloody. I don't want them to hold back. But I think they're going to have to wait to see how Deadpool actually does as an R-rated movie before they do anything else.
Yeah, and obviously the R rating for Deadpool is involving a lot of humor and a lot of language and stuff like that. We're talking about Blade, if it was rated R, would be tonally different than the Deadpool movies, for sure. It's a different kind of rated R. And I want a dark Blade movie, and I don't know if Marvel's necessarily capable of doing that. But then that Werewolf by Night thing, even though that was basically PG-13, it kind of worked. I mean, it really worked. I think that's the best thing they've done since Endgame has been Werewolf by Night. Like, I absolutely love it. So I think there's potential there. Now here's something
was stylized. Like it was campy.
Yeah. Yeah. It leaned into like the old school Universal monster kind of vibe, right? So John Campia's got this like theory. So couple weeks ago, there was a report that Jordan Peele was meeting with Marvel, right? And he also mentions in the article where they announced that the director has left Blade, they say he left weeks ago, right? They're just announcing it. So he's putting this stuff together and he's like, hey, wouldn't it be neat if you get an announcement in a few weeks that Jordan Peele is the new director of Blade? Wouldn't that reinvigorate the franchise or the project? Wouldn't it get Ali back on board? Wouldn't it get fans excited again? What do y'all think about that, or the likelihood that Jordan Peele would do something like Blade?
Nope. Just kidding. It's a pun. I love it. I love that. I mean, I think he's proven himself as a crazy, he's one of the, it's crazy to say this, but he's one of the hottest directors the past 4 years. Jordan Peele has done some crazy, fun, like out of this world stuff. I think it would be a very different Marvel movie to have him as the director, but maybe that's what they need. I mean, my friend's doing she's doing a Marvel rewatch, and she just finished WandaVision. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, the next 5-7 projects, these are all in 2021. All this stuff happened in 2021. We have to slow down. They have to course correct. But will Blade be a priority for them? I don't know, but I think bringing Jordan Peele and giving it its own totally different tonal shift could give it, we only have 2 movies this year, 2026, 2027. This Fantastic Four and Jordan Peele's Blade, completely different. I think there are legs for that. I think it's totally going to depend on, though, the box office of, R, because again, I personally think it has to be an R-rated movie for Blade.
I think your premise is wrong. Okay, in the sense that you think that they're driven and motivated by putting out a good movie, okay, and trying to reproduce what they had in a bottle. That's the wrong premise. That's not what they're thinking. Think about it this way. Deadpool, again, is an anomaly. They expect it to cash in at the box office. They know that they will. So they're willing to do that, okay? Maybe throw some things in there, try to jumpstart X-Men, whatever. But at the end of the day, R-rated movies do not work for Disney, okay? And there's a reason why they don't. So look at it from this standpoint. You put out an R-rated movie, all right? You lose an entire swath of the audience, right? And only Deadpool can get away with it because Deadpool is going to sell at the box office, and it has to this point and probably will. So they're willing to put up with that and just collect the money and run, right? So you put out an R-rated Blade. What are you going to do? You going to sell action figures? You're going to make a ride in Disney World? No, you're not going to do any of that. You can't, okay? So they're looking at the downstream revenue, and it's small, okay? If the movie doesn't crush.
Uh-oh. Hold up. Comcast it again.
The box office, which nobody can say whether it will or not. They're not making it.
Who what studio? Robbie,
it must be too hot. That's why the towers don't work.
So,
oh my
God. What?
Y'all aren't back yet. Hold on. You out there in the chat, what do you think? Jordan Peele doing Blade, how would you feel about that? What do you think?
Hey, Robbie, who did the first 3 Blade movies? Was it Fox or was it Paramount?
It was New Line Cinema.
It was New Line. Okay. Because here's the thing that we're not even thinking about. Deadpool 3. Will Wesley Snipes be in that movie? And they could be waiting just to show. And they could. I mean, in my opinion, nothing is off the table except Taylor Swift.
Why would Wesley Snipes be in the movie? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Deadpool is going through the Marvel universe and going. I mean, theoretically, going to be doing whatever he wants. There could be cameos from any path. I mean, in my opinion, I want to see the Fantastic Four from the 90s in that movie, and Deadpool being like, "What? You guys didn't have a movie? I don't know." But
bro, I want to see David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. That would be fun. That would be.
I mean, other than the confirmation that Taylor Swift is not in the movie, I mean, I honestly think anything is possible. Now, it's going to be more likely that we see the actual Fox characters from the Foxverse. But how back can they go? I mean, this is a bad comparison, but the Flash movie showed us, Christopher Reeve. It showed us, crazy DC things from the past that we thought we would never see. I'm not agreeing that those are good choices, but we saw crazy CGI of those characters. Will we see, Wesley Snipes? You open a door and see Wesley and be like, "Whoops," Who knows? I mean, I think it is possible. However, unlikely, but I do think it is possible that Wesley Snipes could be in Deadpool 3.
Zero chance.
I think there's a better chance than zero, but I think that would be cool. I would like to see an Old Man Blade movie. Think like I Am Legend, but with Wesley Snipes as Blade.
I would say chances are zero. So look at the differences in what we're talking about, okay? In the Flash movie, DC Universe, a lot of that stuff was added after the fact, okay? The thing was cursed. You had the Ezra Miller thing. It was just cursed to begin with. So you threw in, okay, you already own the footage, okay, to Nick Cage being Superman, right? So you dress that up a little bit. So you already own that. So it didn't really cost you anything to throw him in there, right? You owned, the Christopher Reeves likeness, right? So at that point in time, they were doing anything they could. They were throwing the kitchen sink, anything, because Flash was supposed to represent a revival, okay, of the DCU universe. So they needed something. But why would they do it here? What would be the purpose? Okay, Blade is obviously not on the drawing board of making the movie. It's a hot mess. We all know it. I'd be surprised if there were any execs or anybody who's really focusing on that. That's why you lost director and why you're going to lose all of it. Okay, nobody's dealing with it. Why do we think the director left? Seriously. I don't know what was reported. I actually didn't read about it. I didn't have time.
All that was reported was that it was amicable.
Right. I mean, so let's assume, let's go ahead and fill in the blank. Why do we think he left?
He probably had, hey, I've been attached to this movie for X amount of time. I would like to do other projects, but I can't commit to other projects if this is still unknown. Can you give me a timetable? And they probably said, no, we can't. And the director said, I mean, this is a speculation, but okay, I can't wait around.
You're kind of there, but you're kind of dancing around.
There's there, but then my idea would also be the fact that like they don't want to make the movie the studio's wanting to make, right? Because like the notorious creative differences, which is why the last director.
I don't think they've gotten that far. Where they would have creative differences. That usually happens once you start shooting. Okay, all right, and you start trying to get the screenplay approved, and I don't think they're anywhere near that. I think the most likely explanation at this point is that director said, "You know what? You guys aren't doing anything with this. Okay, you catch my into this, so are we going to?" And I could see a bunch of executives going, maybe somewhere down the road we're going to make the movie. I'm not really sure. And the director said, "You know what? I got other things to do, guys. All right, so I'm out." I think this is the most likely scenario of what happened. Okay, so it was amicable. There was no problem. True that. Okay, in the sense that nothing was
It's always rough, isn't it?
on. So I think the director put his fun, and nobody could answer the question. So he's like, well, then if you can't answer the question, I gotta move on. I got stuff to do. I got movies to direct. Okay. So that's what I get from the explanation that was given. Let's assume any kind of plan. I mean, don't you? They're not about making this movie. They tentpole. They're probably a vampire.
Yeah, I think so. Now they're just gone. Now they're just gone. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. All right. I think if Jordan Peele winds up doing a Blade movie, here's the thing. I don't know. First of all, Jordan Peele doesn't need to do a Blade movie, right? Like, he doesn't need to do a Blade movie. That's not something he has to do. He would only do it if he really wanted to, right? Now, Marvel might be going after Jordan Peele because maybe they're like, he's a big time director. Blade could be potentially a big character, especially nowadays, attached to the MCU, I think, So, and I also think that Jordan Peele would be able to balance the horror aspects with a more traditional MCU kind of vibe and aspect. So I don't think it's likely that Jordan Peele's going to be directing Blade just because he doesn't have to do Blade. He could do whatever he wants pretty much. He's got 3 really solid movies under his belt. But I do think that if he, for instance, has a reason, like personal reason to want to make this movie, he could do a good job. I think they may be back. Are y'all back?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really bad. It's been bad all week. I don't know if it's solar flares or what it is. But again, I got to make a point. Comcast, you suck. You absolutely suck. Okay? I know they're not making any movements to improve the quality, whatever. They move on to what T-Mobile, Verizon has done. We need to buy ourselves one of those little towers and use 5G to connect. So they are not pushing any money into the infrastructure. Comcast. Anyway, okay, I had my minute.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, now that they're back, let's move on.
I don't even know where I dropped off. But the point of fact is, I don't think... You still there, Rob?
Rex? Yeah, man. Are you? Go ahead.
I have no idea if I'm there or not.
I see you.
So,
I hear you. Oh my goodness. Hello?
I don't really see. Let me see. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
I don't know if you're messing with me or
I am not messing with you, man. I think you might be on a delay or something. I don't know.
Probably. Oh, God. I am so fed up with this. All right, you let me know if we're catching up.
Hello? Say one.
All right, so I'm reading the comments. Yeah. Hydra. Yeah, I know, right? As if they're making way too much money, Comcast, so they got somebody watching me. But I'm with Marcus. Dude, they're not gonna push Blade. They can't. They realize somebody sat there and did the math and said we can't make money doing it. So I think the Blade project is dead. I don't think we're ever going to see this movie get made.
Yeah, it's looking more and more like that every single day, wouldn't you say?
I would say it's definitely looking like that. They're
cool. All right.
And Comic Hunter, the point he's making is a good one. They're retreating. They don't want to take any more risks, and they're not going to. So in order to make a movie, they've got to be able to merchandise it, release action figures, sell T-shirts. You're not going to do that with the vampire. This is not going to happen.
All right. Let's move into our next topic. Paramount has been in talks to be bought by another company, right? They were doing a deal with Sony that fell through. They had a deal with Skydance, and it was pretty much set to go through. And then I don't remember her name, but she owns like, I think it's like 70-something% of the company. She owns like the majority of that company. She can do whatever she wants with it, right? She axed the deal at the last minute. Now, people are pondering the notion that the reason why they would do this, because Paramount, obviously, they've invested in Paramount Plus. It has not worked out for them. The streaming services talk about how it's hard to actually make it viable monetarily, financially, but Paramount Plus has been at the bottom rung of that ladder for a long time, right? Some people would say it's a ghost town over at Paramount Plus, but that's where you go if you want Star Trek. They got original content. They got things like Yellowstone. They got things that work, but it's not doing well for them. And they've gone from like one of the hugest production companies to one of the smallest at this point, like as far as just not having a lot of hits, and nobody cares about Paramount Plus. So they were talking about selling Paramount. Seems like that's not on the table anymore. And a lot of people are pondering and postulating that their idea is to shut down Paramount Plus and go back to licensing out their content. They used to make mad money when Netflix would license Star Trek. So they had Star Trek, right? They got other things like Yellowstone. They got all their original content. They got a lot of content that people won't necessarily go to Paramount Plus for, but would love to have Star Trek on Max or Netflix or Peacock or something like that, right? So a lot of people are talking about that's going to be their strategy. And I personally think that's a great strategy. I think the streaming service world is way too crowded right now. It's been too crowded. It's getting more and more expensive. As they get more and more expensive, more people are just going to lean into one or two instead of having 5 or 6. Nobody, and I've heard it said that Star Trek is dying at Paramount Plus because the general public can't see it, because not a lot of people go there. So even Star Trek heads, we're not over at Paramount Plus for that, right? So
Yeah,
I think it's a better strategy for them to get back to what they were doing, which is producing content and then have people bid to have that content and go back to being a production company and not a streaming company. And I think more streaming services need to actually do that. I think that will be the better model. Less streaming services, more content creation. What do y'all think?
And Paramount Plus already started doing that with Star Trek. They canceled Prodigy for whatever reason they did.
We're losing y'all again.
Fully canceled.
We're losing y'all again. We're losing y'all again.
Netflix did pick up. So, yeah. So season 2.
Right back, Robbie.
Season 2.
What do y'all think about the Paramount news out there in the chat?
So season 2 of Paramount Plus.
Are you back, Alex? Nope. All right. Marcus, you got a good point. They do got TMNT and SpongeBob as well. They got a lot of stuff that they could make a lot of money licensing out their content rather than putting it on a service that nobody's seeming to go to. What do y'all think? As we wait for them to return again. Oh, Alex moved a little bit.
Oh, wait. I mean, there you are. So Netflix picked up Prodigy season 2, which is crazy exciting. Now, I don't know if it's part of the leak because half the episodes were leaked already, but Paramount Plus is already starting to shop Star Trek content, at least that show, around. Now, with Discovery ending in season 5, we have Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, one more season. Lower Decks was canceled for whatever reason. That's the best Star Trek show that's been on in years. And we have Star Trek Legacy, which is not happening, looks like. Section 31 is happening, but that's going to be a movie with Michelle Yeoh. They need to license the content. I agree completely. I mean, if you turn on Heroes and Villains, you can watch all the Star Trek series. 8 o'clock's Trek, 9 o'clock TNG, 10 o'clock Deep Space Nine, 11 Voyager, Baby Enterprise. When are the when's the Paramount stuff shows going to hit regular cable? When is this stuff going to be more popular? You ask a Star Trek fan, who's Michael Burnham? You'll probably get you either get oh, I know Michael Burnham, or what are you talking about? Well, Michael Burnham's been one of the coolest characters created. I mean, the whole show is about literally a mutineer's rise the captain. Sorry, not spoilers. That's the point of the show. Seeing it from her point of view, you're not getting a show like the 90s. This is new Trek. It's different. It needs to be shown off more places. So Paramount has had this. I mean, they have South Park. You know, they have that stuff. But guess what? Is it doing well on the network on the streaming channel? No, it's not. You know, CBS All Access became Paramount Plus, became what? You know, too many streaming services, yeah, but Paramount did good when they were licensing out their own stuff. Now, this brings me to some other news that I you didn't bring up, but I want to talk about because it's major news this week. For the first time in over 50, 60 years, because of a new law that ended in 2020, Sony purchased Alamo Drafthouse. So for the first time in over 50 years, a studio owns a theater. So what can that mean? Well, what if Paramount buys a theater and shows the stuff there? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, but I'm fairly confident that Paramount is not going to say the streaming service. You know, all these companies, they're like, oh, we want to do our own thing, and they realize, oh, we're losing money, let's go back. So it's just like 4 years later, it's just, where are we 4 years ago? Where are we 4 years later?
I don't think it matters whether the studios buy the theaters or not. Okay, so that if the theaters are smart, they're a dying business model. They will start trying to produce content that they can show. In terms of streaming, yeah, the two main streaming channels. All right, so your property of Star Trek is not enough for someone to yet subscribe to another streaming service, right? So the only thing that I've heard that makes a lot of sense is you're talking about bundling. So what's old becomes new, becomes old again. So bundling kind of becomes how cable used to work, right? So if they're not careful, streaming will become very much like cable was. So we're seeing kind of I don't know how you would put this, but we're kind of seeing the side effects of the cable model, and that in and of itself, and well, it's a great way to segue. Companies like Comcast and whatever, okay, through different regulations and laws, were able to have a monopoly on that business for so long. Okay, I don't think most Americans realize. So in Taiwan, you know, I haven't been there in years now, but you know, since the pandemic. But in Taiwan, internet access is so cheap. Okay, it is small mom and pop restaurants have Wi-Fi. Okay, there's no public place you can go to without access to public Wi-Fi. Okay, which tells me one thing: Taiwan is a small island, small population. So how in the world are they able to provide this? You know, granted, again, it's a small place, but how is it they're able to do this? What it tells me is it don't cost that much to do it, to provide it. So they've been sitting on it and price fixing for decades. And it all comes out of Comcast, or not Comcast, but the cable business model. So now the streaming services realize, crap, we can't make this work. Star Trek, I think, is a strong property. Okay, when they came out with these TV series, it was doing well. It was well accepted by Trek fans. It was well accepted by general public. But then it's starting to fall off. Why? Because we took our ball and we're going to play. You know, we're leaving this game. We're not licensing it to you. We're going to open our own streaming company, and people will pay the subscription. Okay, and then Netflix and everybody else, claiming that they're losing money, starts to up the ante a little bit, up the prices. No commercials. Now there are commercials. Okay, because they're seeing their monopoly model kind of fall to the wayside. They don't want that. They want all the money, right? So now there are too many competitors. So they're going, let's go back to bundling. Sound familiar? That's what you used to do with cable. Okay, Paramount Plus is gone. Okay, they can't make it work. Okay, and the only people that are winning are people that produce the content, sports league, okay, places like that. where you're coming to bed. We want to carry the Super Bowl. We want to carry Thursday Night Football. We'll pay you for it. Okay, driving the price up and up. So now the streaming services are looking at that, going, man, this is costing us a lot. We're competing against each other. Let's stop doing that. Let's band together like we used to back in the good old cable days. And we had the format to show you the stuff, and somebody else made the content, and there are only a handful of us, so we have power. Okay, we're not paying that much. Okay, to stream your stuff. Come back with a better deal. Well, then we won't stream with you. Well, then you're not streaming. Okay, they want to go back to that model. Now, is it possible? I don't know. But we're at that pivotal watershed moment for them. Okay, they came out, it worked, and then next thing you know, more companies tried to do it. I'm pulling my content. We're starting our own streaming service. Now there are too many. Okay, I'm getting ready to cancel Disney now that Acolyte sucks. I mean, okay, there is nothing for me to watch there. I don't have young children at home, so I don't need to subscribe to it. Strangely enough, the only ones that I'm thinking about keeping, Netflix is number one. There's enough on Netflix that I love. Okay, Max, seen Dune now multiple times. It's over. Moving on. Okay, I haven't watched the 1980s Dune for a while, but that's on Netflix. So what do I need Max for? So getting rid of that.
I mean, that's why more and more people are starting to sail the seven seas more than they've been.
Marcus, not watching that.
So, but no, people have been sailing the seven seas, getting the content they want the way they want it, because, you know, if I'm paying $20 a month for a streaming service, which used to be $10 a month, and then was 12, then 15, then 18, now it's 20, and I have to watch commercials too in this, no, I'm going to go pirate what I want, because guess what? I have it when I want it, and I own it. You know, Disney Plus is going to be removing some shows from their, I don't know what, but they've been removing shows. That content's gone. I mean, it's like video games, abandonware. Is it really pirating if the abandonware is nowhere else available? Like if I tell you I want to give you money to watch this or play this game legally and I can't anywhere, well, is pirating really a problem if there's no other option? I don't know.
All right.
We don't condone pirating here without a VPN.
So Alex's opinion is his own. It does not represent the company in any way, shape, or form. Pirating is a problem because it's illegal. Okay, and I understand that. Okay, and I got to speak forcefully about that in the sense that it is somebody else's property. Whether you're a porch pirate and you run off and you steal somebody's Amazon package, or you're pirating, it's the same thing. All right. So from that standpoint, but
you wouldn't steal a car.
Why? If you're willing to pirate something, you're not going to steal a car because number one,
that was Alex.
Okay. The point of fact is, all right, the business model is now at a watershed moment, right? And they're trying to figure it out. Okay. So, the constant claim we're losing money is crap. We all know that. Okay. So what are they going to do? They're going to band together to try to force the prices up. And the move that's going to force them to do that is that more people are going to cancel. Like I'm now at a point where I end up paying almost as much as I did when cable was the only option. So what's the point? All right. So the only good part for me as a consumer is now I have a choice of cutting this and cutting that. Back in the day, the cable company controlled what I got to watch and what I didn't. So I couldn't cancel one. I don't like this channel. I don't like that channel. Well, too bad. Okay. You only have these tiers of service. So you get those channels whether you watch them or not. So they put them. So think about it. Bundling, they want to go back to that model. Okay. All right. So they all do. So I want to cancel this program. Well, you can't. You can't just cancel this channel. So the way they exist now is actually better for the consumer. But it's going to get worse because they're looking at the dollars and cents. And then they can't figure it out. Amazon Prime, I like having that. But then for some reason, I forget what it was. I ended up paying Stars. So for Stars, okay, off Amazon Prime. And I realized I'm paying $9.99 a month for that. On top of my Amazon Prime subscription, which has gone up in price as well. So it's $1.50, I think. All right. Now, Prime, I'm going to hold on to. Why? Because when I order stuff, I like being able to get it delivered next day for free. Okay. So it's worth it to me to have Prime around. Okay. And then the extra bonuses, but even Kindle, I'm getting rid of. I'm not reading that much. It makes more sense for me to buy the books individually than to pay something like, I forget what I paid. When I started with Kindle, it was like $10 a month. Now it's up to 15. I'm wiping all these things out. Okay. Because I don't use it enough. So whatever they decide, it's not going to be in our best interest. It's going to be in theirs. And so Paramount Prime going bye-bye probably makes sense. I would love to watch all the new Star Trek shows. I don't. Because I can't afford to yet subscribe to another one. And another thing I'm going to discover, there's so much crossover from different streaming channels. Like, I want to watch something. Oh, it's leaving tomorrow. Oh, wait, I found it on this now. It's on this now. So I didn't lose my chance to watch it. So now I got to find, I got to find it in a way that I'm not overpaying for stuff that's going to show up on another streaming channel. You know, once one streaming channel loses their loses their access to it.
Yeah.
So in my belief, content should be separate from medium like theaters or like in a way to display it. Okay. One of the things is, sure, people's habits have changed over the years, but I think what's something very significant was when the content producers started to create their own streaming channels. That drove the final nail in the movie theater business model. Because now I don't need you. The heck with you. It's going to streaming 2 weeks after it comes out of your theater. How are you going to stop me? You can't. You know, I hate to go back to it all the time, but to me, the sad part about it is Taylor Swift showed everybody the path. And the theaters need to get smart and start creating their own content if they want to compete with studios. But in order to do that, theaters have to band together and make bigger entities. So they have the money to be able to do that. How they can do that, I don't know. All right. But Taylor Swift showed us, you know what? We don't want you to release the Eras movie while you're on tour. Taylor said, that's contrary to what I want. They go, well, that's too bad. And what did she do? She went straight to theater and cut a deal with them. Locked out all the studios. That was brilliant. Okay. She got what she wanted. Okay. In time frame that she wanted. Theaters were starved for business. So they're like, yeah, Taylor, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. That was a brilliant move. So she showed a window on how that can change. Now, who jumps on it? I don't know. Okay. Making content's not good. So going back to the previous topic, the only way a Blade movie is going to get made, okay, if somebody goes and says, look, we want to buy the IP. We want the rights to make the movie. You guys aren't doing it anyway. So let us do it. Okay. It becomes kind of an indie film being made. And somebody goes to somebody like the movie theaters and says, hey, we need your money. And in exchange for that, we'll make the movie and we will exclusively show it in your theaters. How about it? That would work, believe it or not. If it turned out to be a good movie, obviously. First and foremost, it's got to be a good screenplay, got to be a good movie. But in a sense, you can shake up that business model if you do something like that. Will it be done? I don't know. But to me, you're talking to somebody who every evening, starting at 8 o'clock, I'm watching Heroes and Icons, okay, a free channel. And what am I watching? Star Trek original series, okay, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise in a row every single night. I am obviously a huge fan. I've seen every episode at least once, if not more. Yet I will not spend the money. And would I like to be able to watch Star Trek Discovery, all the new Star Trek series? Yes. Section 31 sounds cool. Okay. I just saw an episode, I think it was Deep Space Nine. Okay. Where Dr. Bashir and was, tangling with Section 31. But am I going to subscribe to Paramount Plus? No way. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. And, what I do is my method with streaming services, and this is what I encouraged people who I get this. I have people ask me all the time, they're like, streaming services are too expensive. What do you do? I'm like, well, I just surf it. Right. So like 1 month, if there's a show I want to see, like right now, I don't have Netflix, but when Cobra Kai comes out, I'll get Netflix for that month so I can watch Cobra Kai.
It's a good point.
Right.
It's a lot of work though, if you think about it.
Well, it's just, and I don't get into a lot of shows, so sometimes I just don't have a streaming service. Like I have Prime because like you, I like having Prime. So when I get something, it gets sent to me.
Free next day delivery.
Right.
If you're
Yeah.
getting Cobra Kai, as an example, are you getting it when it starts, or are you getting it for that month when the season ends?
Or when I want to watch it, when I have the time to watch it, right? Like with Cobra Kai, they dropped it all at once, right? So the day that I know I'm going to watch it, I'll just sign up, right? But for instance, I'm reactivating my Max this weekend because House of the Dragon starts back. And that is something I want to watch week to week because I love that show. So,
Plus, I mean, there's no way. I mean, it's been 2 years. There's no way spoilers won't go anywhere. I mean, I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole, but for a show where the history is already established and out there, I have been staying away from all the Targaryen history in the books that I read because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to be there for the next 2 or 3 kings. I don't want to know. I'm going to be fully surprised. But if you don't watch every week for House of the Dragon, it's going to be almost impossible to go into that show without knowing something.
Yeah,
so,
especially
Robbie,
if you're on YouTube,
you know. Robbie, I think you brought up a good point. So that we touched on. What is best, or what is going to be best for them, is to be able to bundle in a way, not more streaming channels, but bundle in a way that I get an ancillary benefit. So as I said, am I going to get rid of? I might get rid of Stars, save myself $10 a month. But will I get rid of Amazon Prime? No, right? Because it's bundled with something else that is very convenient for me. All right, after everything that happened this year, I've become an avid Amazon shopper because basically it's easier than going to the store, right? So just getting something delivered, like getting ready to go on a trip, okay, renting a car. One thing I hate whenever I rent a car is I take my own Easy Pass, which is the paid transponder that we have in our area. I don't know. I don't remember. You guys don't have a lot of toll roads. I remember in Alabama. But up in the Northeast, dude, let me tell you about the Garden State Parkway. Every 2 miles, toll. Every 2 miles, toll, right? So you get what's called an Easy Pass. And there's a big transponder you put up in your windshield, and it just reads it. So
you don't have to stop for the toll. You can just drive through the.
Well, yes, correct. All right, a lot of places now it's a drive-through, Easy Pass lane, right? So one thing I used to hate about rental cars is I'm not renting theirs because there's a per charge every day, along with the tolls, right? So I want to bring my own. But the one thing I used to hate was it has little Velcro things in my car, right? Well, you can't remove the Velcro things. So you end up having to put it on the dash. You make a hard left turn, hard right turn, goes sliding across, right? And then I got to get my daughter to pick that up off the floor. It's a pain. So to avoid that, knowing that Easy Pass will be taken from here all the way down to Florida, I got one of those suction cup ones. Well, I don't want to have to go to a store to go get that, walk around the store aimlessly, looking for something, having to ask two sales associates where it is.
What size suction cup you need, sir?
Right. So I go to Amazon Prime. I buy it for $11 at my house the next day. Great. So Disney Plus, if you gave me something for subscribing, okay, call it what you will, something towards the park, something towards merch, something like that.
They had Hulu and ESPN, and now.
Well, you see my point. I don't watch. I unfortunately pay for Hulu, which
right.
I shouldn't. ESPN, who cares about ESPN?
But I mean, when Disney Plus first started, they specifically bundled Hulu and ESPN together.
That's against my example. Again, it cannot be yet more streaming. That bundling, in my opinion, is not going to work. It has to be something else that I benefit from. So with Disney Plus, what do I have with Disney Plus that other than watching the shows, which I'm not going to watch anymore because Acolyte came out and sucked. What else would I consume that's Disney?
Kathleen
The
Kennedy will
parks?
come to your house for dinner.
Why would I care about that?
That's part of
But
the
something
perks.
something with the parks, right? So that's something that has meaningful, value to me. So that would be something. You mean streamers should bundle with internet?
That's a good idea, I think. Like it's just part of your.
That market actually is not a bad idea.
Ooh.
I don't know how they would do that.
The
I'd
ISPs
say,
would
like
just
for
upcharge
instance,
you for
MLB
their service.
TV. Like if you get T-Mobile service, you get MLB TV along with it. For instance, things like that.
Yeah,
right.
That's not a bad idea, Marcus. I like that one. But give me something else in another portion of my life that I use.
Netflix, brought to you by Comcast.
All right, Netflix, I'll be honest with you. For me, Netflix is worth keeping, okay? Because they do a lot of international movies, things that I don't normally get to watch, okay? And I enjoy that, okay? There was a movie with Michelle Yeoh in it. I forget the name of it, but it was about gangsters from Taiwan. So there's a personal connection to it. There are a lot of Japanese shows that I've enjoyed watching, okay? There's one called Tokyo Vice, okay? That's what I enjoy. So I'm willing to continue paying for Netflix. The rest of them, no, not really. Why? Okay, I'm wasting money. I watch every now and again.
What you should do is, well, they're cracking down on this, but get a few friends. Hey, I pay for Netflix. I pay for Disney Plus. I pay for Hulu. I pay for Amazon Prime. We all share together. They've been cracking down on that,
but they are cracking down on that. Yeah.
But Marcus, here's the thing. It's not exactly what they did. It is similar. Okay, I agree. Yeah, funny, Marcus. I get what you're saying. Okay, but at the time, that business model was a little different. We had cable for TV. Then cable through their infrastructure. Also, as the internet started to become a big thing, they provided internet service through that. Okay, but now it's really different. I can get my internet anywhere, 5G, however. So I think that's a little different. So I think that telecom companies are going to play a much larger role. Okay. But again, if I got to pay for an internet service, am I more likely? So what determines that for me? Right now, I got to say that reception, okay, areas of the country, reception makes a difference to me. So that's number one. Okay. But number two, if I believe I get something more out of it, like streaming services, I might do that. Okay. Comcast Peacock, I don't see it that way because I don't have Comcast, but I have Peacock, which also is going by the wayside. So
don't remember. Do remember the Olympics are coming back, Rex. You might want to hold on to it for a few more months.
Yeah, in Paris, I don't think so. I think I can manage to not see the flag twirling, the streamer thing, okay, and breakdancing. I think I'm going to be all right.
I'm excited for breakdancing. I'm really excited to see breakdancing at the Olympics. Honestly,
me too. That's pretty fun. And
they're calling it breaking, right? They're just breaking, I think.
The gold team better go to the silver team and go, you got served. If they don't, then what are we even doing here?
Well, this has been a fantastic discussion about Blade and Paramount Plus and their inevitable deaths, probably. But I think it's more hopeful for Paramount than it is for Blade right now. But Rex, Alex, thank you all so much for being here. What y'all got coming up?
Well, we have a Darkwing Duck Kickstarter that's live right now. It reprints the original Marvel year's Darkwing Duck along with the Disney Adventure series. Volume 2 is Darkwing Duck from Dynamite, and Volume 3 is Negaduck and Justice Ducks. And as of yesterday, we officially launched the Puppet Master 35th Anniversary Trading Card Set on BackerKit. So if you go to BackerKit.com and search for Puppet Master, you will see the new Dynamite project. These are 35th Anniversary trading cards. Puppet Master hasn't had a card set since the early 90s. So this is 30 years later, a brand new card set. It's going to be awesome, super fun. Definitely check it out if you're a fan of Puppet Master or horror or any campy slasher films.
All right, so don't forget Nick original art.
Yes.
this tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tad Stone's co-creator of Darkwing Duck is going to be on, so it's going to be a real interesting show. So to definitely tune in, not just for original art, but if you got questions, I'm sure they're going to have a Q&A period. You can ask the creator of Darkwing Duck anything you want in the chat. Monday, I'll be back with Robbie and John for our normal comics collectible show on EXP, and then Wednesday, of course, for our 1 hour, 7 to 8 Eastern time. What do you got coming up, Rob?
Well, PCP movie night is nearing the end of Crew's Choice, but we still got 2 to go. And this Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be talking about Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise. This was my first time watching it, and I rather enjoyed it. So I'm excited to talk about this movie. Have you seen that one, guys?
I feel like I have, but now, for the life of me, I couldn't tell you what it's about.
It's like these aliens came to Earth and there was a war and now humanity is left. So Tom Cruise is there to like, they got these machines that's like, they're converting the water into fuel, but then there's like twists in it or whatever. So it's like him and his wife or some of the last people on Earth. Sound familiar? No?
No, but now I'm going to watch it because that sounds like that kind of dystopian movie is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, man. It was definitely worth checking out. Good. Yeah, sounds good. All right, so we're dipping out. Thank you guys so much for being here in the chat. If you're watching on the repeat, let us know what you think in the comments down below. I've been Rockin' Robbie. Station. Pop, pop. Boom. Y'all have a good one.
Bye, everyone.